Welcome, everybody, to Slam Nation Wrestling for the day, Wednesday, June 2nd. We are here to cover AEW Double or Nothing, which took place this past Sunday. I'm joined in the studio, as always, with our AEW correspondents, AJ and John. Welcome, fellows.
How's it going, everybody?
What's going on, Slam Nation?
It is great to have you guys here again. And I got to say, I'm loving the WrestleMania 10 poster behind you, AJ. I didn't notice that before.
I tell you what, when the WWE shop did these, I think it's Josh Bartlett or maybe it's Jonathan Bartlett. I can't remember now. I'm going to wicked butcher this guy's name, but he's awesome. If I can throw him in a little plug. I've got his work basically lined in my man cave down here. So
awesome. Maybe someday we'll have to do like a wrestling man cave tour, so to speak, because I know you've got some pretty cool stuff over there.
So down for that. I would love that.
Awesome. And John, again, great to see you as well.
Thank
overall, I think we're in agreement overall that the show this past Sunday was a thumbs up, a double thumbs up. Am I correct in that overall?
I'll give it a single thumbs up.
Single thumb.
Is that like an Orange Cassidy thumbs up?
That is the biggest compliment from me, though, a single thumb up.
Well, AJ said that is it the Orange Cassidy thumb up?
You got to do a little less. A little less
than an Orange Cassidy.
No. To get the Orange Cassidy right, you have to do a little less. You guys are too upright. Yeah. You're not lazy enough.
I was going to say, because John, you and I had the opportunity to watch it together on Sunday, and I didn't think you were that down on it for sure.
No, I'm not down on it. It's just some of the stuff was bad, in my opinion. After I rewatched it a second time, and the second time through, I appreciated a couple more matches. So
I can't wait to see what you guys think about match per match. So obviously, AEW Double or Nothing did have a couple key pieces of information and events, and one of them was actually pretty surprising, and that is Mark Henry has signed with AEW as another coach role. What were you guys' thoughts on the World's Strongest Man making a surprise appearance at the show?
I didn't see that one coming. I'm a big fan of Busted Open, so I listened to Mark Henry on there. He was on there, I want to say on Friday, maybe it was, talking to Tony Khan. I did not see that coming at all. Good for him. I think it's great. It's a fit, him and the Big Show's relationship there. I know he was instrumental in bringing in people like a Bianca Belair to the WWE, so I think this is going to be very good for him. The most interesting thing that I thought, though, right away was just Leo Rush and him are both there at the same time.
Can we get that one? I would like that one-on-one show for that conversation. I really would. But, Mark Henry, amazing. He's going to bring a lot of good things. I'm not too keen on bringing in all these Hall of Famers for commentary, but we'll see how it goes. But, yeah, him as a coach is going to be great. He's going to teach some of these AEW wrestlers to sell, and I can't wait.
Agreed. And I think one thing that would be kind of dope for a company to kind of do is his role was called an analyst, right? So the worry always with the Hall of Famer is that they're just trying to get back in the ring, right? So I think what would be a cool role is to have somebody set up with their own almost like gimmicky type of one-on-one interview segment. That might be a Hall of Famer, but that has no intention of necessarily this leading to a match. I know Mark Henry's been training a match. I think he wants to go out one last time. But I think that would be kind of cool is if sometime on Rampage, it's just this like one-on-one sit down with Mark Henry and somebody else to help get that talent over.
The thing I'm really looking forward to is I'm really hoping he brings the big man aspect to this company, because from what I see, they butcher all the big men so far. So I can't wait to see that change.
Yeah. Those big men stop doing flips and flies. They got to actually start wrestling like big men. That's for sure. We'll talk about that in our TNT Championship match later tonight.
20 seconds.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, that was one of the big news, coming into the show. But the opening match was Hangman Adam Page going once again one-on-one with the Machine Brian Cage. Trying to get that victory back, after the big upset win from Cage about 3 weeks ago on Dynamite. First things first, what I noticed was John, you had said that he had worn this before. I was not familiar with his, Metal Machine gear.
don't think it was exactly that type, but he wore it definitely in that. He wore something to that effect, but it did look to me a little cheesy, but that is his thing, so we'll let it roll.
What were your thoughts on the Metal Machine gear? Did you think it was cheesy? Do you think it hit the mark? Or what were your thoughts, AJ?
Yeah, I definitely. I think the reason why it felt a little more cheesy to me is the fact that the announcers didn't put it over enough. If the announcers maybe made that connection a little bit better, I think it would have been maybe less cheesy. But I also think that they screwed up in their entrances there. I do think that Adam Page should have been the first one out for that crowd. I think the face should have came out first. I get it. I'm sure you guys watched the buy-in. Taz came out, so again, Page is going to come out. But Cage is going to come out. But I think Adam Page should have came out first.
I agree, but to me, it didn't really. I mean, at the end, it didn't really make a difference because he still got that huge pop. So I think it would have been exactly the same. I think it would have been actually even louder because they were anticipating it more. Yeah,
it was that was the match that needed to open the show. It was awesome.
Yeah, because like John and I were talking about that, we thought that maybe the Battle Royal might be one of the ones to start it, and thank the Lord it didn't, because that would have completely flattened the. They would have flattened it. They would have cheered for anything.
I honestly thought it was going to be the tag team match, but I mean,
it's true, yeah.
But this one wasn't that. This one was good too. It gave that crowd that hot opener win that they needed to cheer their butts off for. So.
Absolutely, especially with the babyface. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you guys, I actually thought that Cage was going to snag the victory for a second.
Me too.
Oh,
for a minute, I was like, maybe I'm wrong.
Really?
For a second there at the end, I thought they were going to do that.
Because the bigger story is Page is going on to bigger, better things, and Cage is doing that babyface turn slowly, I guess. So I mean, the roles were already placed in this for this match. Page was going to win. But
we're about to see him destroy Will Hobbs for a while.
Yeah.
I could see that. Like, so are you saying that Page versus Will Hobbs or Cage versus Will Hobbs?
Cage.
Yeah.
I think that's how the babyface turn happens. You know what I mean? You get those two monsters in the ring together. It's not going to be Ricky Starks, obviously.
Yeah, he's out for a while.
So to me, to have a good babyface turn, Cage needed to be a better bad guy first. They just really missed the mark with him so far. He's been here a year now. I mean, honestly, can you remember anything besides that ladder match that he's done? Nothing.
No, nothing.
But the good thing about AEW is they can quickly turn it around. They have shown that they will. Hopefully they do, but this is one of the smaller issues that they have.
Yeah, I mean, when Cage comes out for a match, my interest is piqued because I do think he's a very good big man. And he's one of those guys that he does some of the high risk moves, but just his body type and he does look like he's the all around monster athlete. So when he does go for a high risk move, like a flip, it doesn't come across as odd. Whereas a guy like Lucha Saurus or Lance Archer, to me, it just seems out of place. But maybe that's just me. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Brian Cage, the Machine, and I think it'll be interesting to see if they do pull the trigger immediately on the babyface turn or they keep hinting it. It seems after Sunday's show that I think that he is on his way out of Team Taz.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Maybe he'll give the belt right to him as that, I don't need this, and he tosses him the belt. That could be a symbolic gesture.
I do think it'd be dope if they put that belt on the line.
Someday. I think has he ever did it on TV? I want to say he's had one match or two.
A couple. I think they buried it back with that Cody thing, that Cody Taz little interaction. That TW belt was buried after that.
Well, then they got the TNT belt. That's pretty much all they really needed.
Well, yeah.
Now, here was the match, John, that you were calling from the beginning, and this was a crazy opener. Not opener, but a follow-up.
Yes.
I loved, John, you were hoping for the Wild thing, intro. I think it delivered. But I loved how they were throwing the shoes around that they stole from the Young Bucks, and they had to run and get them. Did you guys catch that? He just winged them into the crowd.
No, he winged his can of beer that he stole. He dropped it on the ground. He couldn't find it.
That's what it was. Yeah, he left the shoes on the ground, and they're like, "Oh no, go back and get those." That's what it was. But yeah, he still was winging stuff into the crowd in general. This match had a lot of heat to it. Both tag teams are definitely well established at this point. One of my favorite moments in the whole match was basically the doomsday device with the shoe. You guys, what did they call that? The de jure device or something?
I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that.
I think it had something to do with like whoever the sneakers were, like the player or whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah. So that makes sense. They would call it the Dior. Maybe because they're the Jordan Diors, the Jordan 1 Dior.
That's what it was. It was the Dior device, is what they called it.
That's wicked funny. That's awesome. Well played. That's great.
So, what were you guys' thoughts on this match in particular? Like, highs, lows. Did it end the way you wanted?
Go ahead, John. I'll let you take this because I like this one.
Let me read some of these notes here. Like, first of all, I want to say how great the Young Bucks are as the heels. Minus Matt. I was talking to Pat about this live, and I was trying to really point out that Nick comes off natural like this. Matt, with the weird faces he makes towards the cameras, it doesn't seem natural, and I kind of wish it would stop. But Nick with the dyed hair now and the beard, he really fits this role, and I kind of want, after this is all done with their tag team, I want Nick have a single run because I think he's the best. But that's just me. Let's see. I enjoyed the Shield taunts. That was classic. I always like those little
hilarious.
Yes, they were. I definitely like that. So I mean, with me, I'm more, as you guys know, I've already talked about this. I'm more storytelling in the matches more than the actual. Because if you just grade AEW on match quality, you're always going to have an 8 out of 10.
Sure.
Because they're always have great matches. So I kind of try to look for other things. A couple things I noticed is the hot tags in this match. They actually had one of the coldest hot tags where they tagged in Moxley, and the crowd just went, ugh. Like, it was silent for a Moxley tag. They are actually louder when Kingston got tagged in.
Well, as I say, yeah, Kingston definitely, and they were very close in proximity, if I remember correctly.
There were 3 hot tags. I was counting. Like, they had 3 different hot tags in this match, which you don't usually see too much.
Right.
So it was kind of like a wave thing for me. But other than that, I thought the match was actually really good. The only thing I didn't like was the ending. I thought the knees, what do you call it, the
BT trigger, yep.
The BT trigger. I thought they looked a little weak to knock out Moxley. And another thing I really didn't like, I don't know if it was accidental blood. I didn't think there should have been any color in this match. The other matches should have had the color. We'll get to that later, but that was my couple thoughts. But other than that, I thought the match was really good. I mean, I'm nitpicking here right now because that's just the way I am when I want a match.
That's how it should be. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Right.
But I gave AEW like the 2-year grace period. Now I'm going to start like really kind of hammering home. But the match was actually really good. I enjoyed it. I told Pat, this is my thing. If I'm looking at my phone during the beginning of the match or the middle of the match, I really don't care. I'm never going to tap in, but I really looked at my phone during this match. So it kept my interest, and I like that.
It gets the no phone seal of approval from you, John.
It sure does. There was a couple matches that night that I had.
That's an important gauge. It really, I'm like no BS. That's a really, I think that's a fair gauge, and especially in 2021.
Yeah, I know.
Now, John, you actually gave it a negative point. The fact they kept doing the BTE triggers. Was it just that they didn't look strong, like you said, or that they did?
It didn't look strong. It looked weak. It didn't look crisp. It just looked like they were tired trying to nail it, or they're protecting Moxley, which I don't know why. Because Moxley's not the type of guy that would say, "Hey, take it easy on me." He would say, "Lay it in." It looked weak at the end, and it was just too much at the end for me. And I also thought, with the way the Bucks are going, that and I know AEW usually do this. I thought it should have been a dirty finish because their whole thing right now is they've been low blow shotting. They've been fighting dirty. I thought there should have been a dirty ending where they get the 1, 2, 3. That's the way they were pushing them. So I was kind of shocked it was a clean 1, 2, 3 to me.
What were your thoughts on the ending, AJ?
So I honestly thought that they were going to go with the Meltzer driver. If it wasn't going to be a cheap finish, I wasn't expecting the BT triggers to be the ending. So I agree. I thought either you're going to go cheap or let's maybe do 2 Meltzer. I don't know. But it's just a more devastating looking move. I also thought Eddie Kingston was taking the pin.
Yeah, so,
I mean, I'm kind of glad he didn't.
Me too. I think Moxley probably said it. He's so
Moxley's untouchable. He can take this pin and come back out and beat the crap. But if Kingston takes another loss, he's just the guy that's always going to lose, and that's the thing.
Right.
Like, give the guy the loss that doesn't really matter. So,
I completely agree. The one thing that I was going to complain about from the start of this one was the match placement. And again, maybe it's just the Hangman Page fan followed by the Young Bucks fan of me and being so hyped for this match specifically. But to have this as number 2, I needed a breather after that opener.
That's not AEW style.
Oh my God. That was just a 1-2 punch that I was just not expecting. Like, I remember I got up and I had a full house here. I got up and I was like, we're gonna do this now. Okay.
That's another thing I was talking to Pat about. They went match really fast at some points. Like, I think Pat at one point had to go to the bathroom and he's like, nope, guess I can't. Because they didn't give you that second. I only noticed they only did promo packages for the VPs.
Yeah. Well, in the Sting matches, they had a little intro, but you want to see that, you know?
Oh, you want to see that, yeah.
But I learned my lesson from WrestleMania 28, I think it was, when they had the Daniel Bryan Sheamus 18-second match.
Oh, yeah. That'll get you.
I don't remember if you were there, AJ, but it was at our friend Ken, well, your cousin's Ken. But basically, I went to go and use the bathroom, and I was like, okay, this is the match I was looking forward to. That was my main event for that WrestleMania because I just like those two guys. I got up to go use the bathroom, and I came back, and it was done. And I'm like, I didn't even see a video package. I was like, no. So, I was very cognizant of that at the yeah. I personally actually I think disagree with both you guys in all reality. I thought the finish was excellent because they've been putting over the BTE trigger on all of their matches. I think that's what they've been winning with lately. I do think that move looks more devastating in a long-term injury storyline. And by doing it slow, I think they really pinpointed the fact that you're supposed to see them do that because I'm guessing that Moxie's going away for a little bit because he's got a new kid. Either Renee's either had it or is about to have it. So that could be like a way to write TV.
She's ready to pop.
So that's how I saw it. And I mentioned this to you, John, but I didn't know if you knew. I'd like to. I just got a picture to share. When I saw Matt Jackson, I believe it was, with the beard and the dyed hair. Again, might be dated. All I could see is this Maurice Gibbs.
Oh. Yeah, I think you said that.
Yeah,
Somebody said that I read, yeah.
But again, it's 2021. I don't know how many people watching even know who the Bee Gees are.
You old man.
I am. This was my theme music back when I back wrestled. It was the Bee Gees. So, you know.
Wait, what song?
Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. I was disco all that Pat.
That's classic.
Someday we'll upload those.
I think my connection's breaking up, guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
So the Bucks did pull off the win, and they did retain their tag team titles. But this was followed up by the Casino Battle Royal. Definitely had my attention because you never know who's going to be making their big debut in this match. Because I feel like every year they have somebody, and this time Rush.
Did you see that?
What's that?
Did you see that coming?
No, not at all.
I didn't.
I didn't know if he was even wrestling anymore. Because honestly, I had some. Good.
He signed with New Japan.
Yeah, but apparently he's with them, or again, maybe there's that cooperation because we have been talking lately, at least on their phones, about is New Japan Pro Wrestling going to go with AEW? Are they going to partner with WWE? Perhaps it's AEW at this point. His entry and his status within this battle royal, I think, spoke volumes about the booking of this match all the way through. He came out big to do. He was out of the ring in 45 seconds. All the eliminations in here were incredibly quick. I mean, granted, AEW shows they run really heavy. Sunday was no different. It finished at 12:10, I believe. So I mean, you couldn't have this be a marathon Royal Rumble, but my God, he was in and out. So was everybody else. Now, John, I know you've watched this one multiple times, and you mentioned about how your feelings have come up and down on this. By the way, before we go, Penta's got a pretty sweet Joker costume.
Yes, he does.
Outfit of the night, right?
Absolutely.
So good.
I mean, I'm a fan of Hikaru Shida, but he wins.
Touche. That was a place
line. So I'm just gonna preface this before I go all positive on this match. They need to stop doing these. These casino battle royals they need to end. First of all, like the one thing I don't like is they're all about rankings, and then all of a sudden you win this battle royal. Woo, you're number one contender. So that kind of defeats the purpose of having rankings. And two, like it's a quick turnaround. It's like, hey, you win, and then bam, you have a title match in 2 weeks, and then they lose.
Well,
okay, but
I think that ruined the main event. Only because Jungle Boy, he's not going to fight Orange Cassidy.
Great point.
You know, so yeah, those two are too similar as far as in physical size, and they're both faces. So there's no way. And we knew going into this that Pac had no chance. He had the real snowball's chance in hell of winning the belt.
Now, if they only do this one time a year, they can make this like their little Money in the Bank thing.
Sure.
I wish they did that. Like you get a guaranteed match at some point, not like a sneak in, but you have to announce that you want to cash in. Like not like a sneak type thing. Don't do that. But,
now, just for that said, though, John, the last one they had in February was a tag team one for the tag belt, so they might not do another one of these singles one for the rest of the calendar year.
Well,
that's true. They said they're going to bring the women's one back.
It's the ladder match they like to do. So they do the battle royal, and then they do because Brian Cage debuted in that ladder match that they like to do for the same type of gig, you know, where they grab the I think it was a poker chip at one point.
Yeah,
last time was the Hedgehog ring, and then they had the poker chip. Yeah, the face of the revolution.
But they do these at every pay-per-view. Like do some sort of casino battle royal at every pay-per-view. Like just it's overkill to me.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things I had the benefit of with this one is I had 4 people over my house that were not wrestling fans that were in the show, and they took over. They took WrestleMania Night 1 with us, and then they did this. So 2 different worlds. One of the things that there's a 9-year-old boy who's another good age, right? Because I was right around, I was a little bit younger than him when I got involved. He had said that he would have liked for something like he's heard of the Royal Rumble where somebody comes in. He would have liked for something like this to have all 20 or whatever was start in the ring at the same time. I didn't hate that idea. I thought that it would have made the match go a little bit more. We wouldn't have to deal with because Leo was really the only surprise, right? I think it would have moved a little more.
Yeah, it's a new company that's still getting their their feet wet. I think it does, like you alluded to, AJ. It does give everybody the opportunity to be introduced at least. Because like Joey Janela, how many people that are new to this company are gonna be like, "Oh my God, I know that guy"? No, nobody knows who Joey Janela is unless you're already a fan.
Wait, there's fans of Joey Janela?
No, that's my point.
Okay.
No, but Joey, if you're watching right now, like, share, subscribe.
No, I got some good things about this match. Let me say some few good things. Max Caster is going to be a star. Except I hate when he handed the crowd at the end. I think he choked on his words and didn't know where to go.
Not his best rap, right?
No. And he built up the Dustin Rhodes one so much, and then it was like wah wah. And then he's like, "Oh man, that one did not hit. Let me pander to the crowd. That wasn't that good." Varsity Blondes will be tag team champs within the next year. If they allow that. I think so. Brian Pillman's contract ends with MLW. I know he's allowed to be in AEW because in his contract it says you can't fight for WWE. That's how he can go between the 2 shows. And yeah, I think they're going to be stars, especially after that Pillman documentary. I love Pet's Beard. That's my next one. And what else? Tarzan, or the music Tarzan Boy for Jungle Boy. Magnificent. Like, I think the song is making him an even bigger star. And
especially that. Just that whole everybody going crazy with it. That was fantastic.
And I was like,
so
and
rumor
you guys
has
remember
it,
when Private Party was good? I was gonna say, you remember when Private Party was good?
Matt Hardy has ruined them. Surprisingly,
they look
generic. I actually like Matt doing this kind of big money Matt thing. I was gonna say though, as much as we buried Joey Janela, rumor has it was his idea for that song.
Oh yeah,
really?
To Tony Khan, yeah.
I don't have a problem with Joey Janela. He seems to be like buried on the internet, particularly by Jim Cornette, the Jelly Janela.
He walks right into it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he can have good matches if he wants to. I mean, he's had some pretty good, decently hardcore matches that weren't crazy bloody in the company. So,
I think him and Cornette are working together on that.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't make. We talked about that last week. I mean, Cornette's a little bit old at this point, but you never know. So
go ahead.
No,
it's still relevant. Like,
right.
the AEW crowd knows who Jim Cornette is.
Yes.
They know.
So Jungle Boy wins, right? And he gets put
Great
over
choice.
big time by Christian Cage, who I had picked going into it. I said it was either him or Jungle Boy. And I remember you mentioned, John, like, well, I picked two good people, I guess. I mean, I'm not like Nostradamus or Nosferatu. Nosferatu's Dracula, so one of those two. What were your basically bottom line, guys? What were your thoughts on the choice of putting Jungle Boy as the winner of this match?
Great choice. I just wish the title match wasn't within 2 weeks.
That's why they.
You know he's not gonna win.
Right.
It's just like you win this thing, now you get a title match, and it's gonna be a great match. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a great match. But are you gonna go into it thinking he has any chance of winning?
Not even a little bit. Not even a little. And I agree, and that's where I think maybe this would have been a good choice for Christian. Let's get that match out of the way, where it's the veteran in 2 weeks, and then it's done. It's a TV buy. It gets viewers into it. Let's do that, and let's save the Jungle Boy thing for something we can sink our teeth into more. Or don't make this a world title shot. Give me Jungle Boy and Miro. Now I actually think he might win.
Bam! You nailed it, AJ. That's what I was saying. They need to build Jungle Boy versus Miro, and that needs to be the next one at All Out. And that's when Jungle Boy gets his moment because he's losing too many top matches. So get him some wins here, have him fight Miro, and give the surprise underdog victory. And that is how you fix Jungle Boy's thing. Because he needs that big win. He hasn't had that big single win yet.
What if, again, this may be like out there, but my thoughts usually are, what if they do something along the lines of this, right? Jungle Boy is scheduling his match with Omega, and Omega's in Don Callis, who can talk, out of all sides of his head. What if he convinces him to sacrifice that match for a tag team title match instead to do his partners right? And of course, the tag team champions are right there in Omega's camp. And they pull some kind of nonsense where it's like, Jungle Boy's like, okay, you know what? Let's do this. And he thinks he's going to have Luchasaurus as his partner. But somewhere in the writing, they make it so it's Marco,
yeah.
Stunt. Yeah, and they go into this match, and it's like, basically, oh, man, Jungle Boy's at a disadvantage. There's no way they're going to beat the Bucks, and they actually do. So instead of him getting a title shot at Omega, he ends up getting a handicap shot at the Bucks, and that's how the Bucks lose the belts.
You had me until you said Marco wasn't winning.
No, but that's the whole thing. Like that would be like the big swerve, and then maybe they do the freebird rules.
Like if you're gonna do that, I'd rather see them lose and be like, then have Jungle Boy angry, and then have him going after the Elite.
So I like this game. So again, out there, right? Jungle Boy was in the Battle Royal.
He was the only one.
Somebody else was not. So what if in 2 weeks we are all the way down to where it looks like he actually might win? Orange Cassidy style might win, where we're like, this might happen. Luchasaurus comes out and costs him that match.
Oh, that'd be brutal.
That would put Jungle Boy over so much. He'd be more over than Darby.
If Luchasaurus attacked him, I don't think I'd put him more over.
Nobody would see the Luchasaurus gig because they're too tight.
Are people gonna care?
You're not. I have vague memories of I'm not a Luchasaurus fan last week, so I'm understanding now.
I don't remember saying that, but no, I said I don't like Luchasaurus when he's jumping.
I'm not big on him either. I mean that. I'm not big on him either. But the fans seem to, just like the best friends, two other people who I'm not a big fan of at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm just not a fan of Chuck Taylor.
The fans seem to really love this Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus gig. And I think it would be great to see this, monster, right? The big guy turn on this little dude. It would put, I think it would at least not hurt him from losing to Kenny in the match if it happened based on that versus Don Callis.
I think you have too much merchandise and goodwill on the fans to kind of blow the Luchasaurus. And kind of what, John, you were saying earlier about we didn't get enough time for Brian Cage to be established before losing lead Team Taz. I think it's the same thing with Jurassic Express. They've never held the belts yet.
I mean, they don't. I mean, they're over without him. So, but my thing is Jungle Boy is the star of this team. We're gonna give the Shawn Michaels Marty Jannetty comparison. Once they break up, what is Luchasaurus gonna do? I mean, honestly, do you see him holding any belts, being in any top feuds with anybody? You do?
Yeah,
I really don't. I can see it.
He's a future TV champion. They just got to book him. He's got the look. He's going to stand up like Kane.
Is he popular because of Jungle Boy? Because Jungle Boy is the star.
No, I think that's the other way around. I think that Jungle Boy.
Oh, wow.
When the company first started, I think that Luchasaurus was the more attractive of the pair. I mean, you got a big dude wearing a big green mask. Like, I think that catches your attention right off the bat. And then, don't get me wrong, Jungle Boy got you right then and there. I think it's cake and ice cream. I think they're both.
I think Jungle Boy was over because who his dad was. People knew coming in, and they were rooting for him.
I don't think anybody knew that at first. I don't think anybody knew that he was Luke Perry's son at the first couple months.
But the thing is, AEW doesn't cater to the non-wrestling fan, so all the AEW fans knew who he was.
Really, you think so? You're probably right. Honestly,
Fair point. AEW does cater to the actual wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know though until JR started calling him Jungle Boy Jack Perry,
which I actually like. I think he needs to get away from just the Jungle Boy name. He needs to be Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Agreed.
Because you don't want some 35-year-old man. You don't want a 35-year-old man running around being called Jungle Boy. It just doesn't fit.
Guys, I'm gonna be 35 in like 2 days. You just hurt me by saying the words. Like I'm feeling old.
I was gonna say you're the baby of the podcast.
I've already gone way past that. So
you have a pet, you look good for your age. That's the best part. You know?
That is actually true.
Flattery will get you everywhere. All right, so then we had our next match. Cody going up against Ogogo. I mean, okay. I love Cody's outfit for one thing. He had a pretty sweet red, white, and blue and gold gear. For some reason, it reminded me of the guy from The Boys.
Oh yeah, something Caster.
Yeah, the bad guy from The Boys.
Yeah, it is that. It clearly is, which emphasizes more he's the heel.
Right. I think the match was okay. I think that we were looking too deep into the booking of this instead of just looking at like old school wrestling booking. At least I was, because I'm like, oh, there's no way Cody's gonna win. Yeah, he did, and that was the right booking when you look at it storyline wise. Guy comes out, he's the American Dream, he's the face of the company.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna win. It's like John Cena Rusev. We are all kind of bickering about that back in the day when he beat Rusev for the U.S. title. However, that is what the booking should have been. For a non-wrestling fan particularly, the story tells itself. Ogogo is not established enough in this company yet. He didn't need this win just yet. If they recover, put him in a tag team or keep moving him up now, it'll be fine.
Here's the thing I have issue with. You're bringing these up-and-comers and making them lose their first big match, and then you have to take time to rebuild them. Why not just go for it right at the beginning? But this was too soon for Ogogo. Ogogo should not have been having this match this soon. They should have built him up.
He comes out with his record on his nameplate, and it says 2-0.
I caught that too. I didn't know if anybody else caught that. That's actually interesting because it did lose credibility on that one. You're absolutely right, because even on Dark, they didn't even not to jump back to Jungle Boy, but I read something today. He's won, I guess, a match on Dark, match on Elevation since Double or Nothing. So they're trying to pad the stats, right?
Yeah.
Ogogo looked like he was just this was his first rodeo. So I agree, Pat. I think that probably hurt the credibility, which is almost why I think it's even better that Cody didn't take the loss.
Right.
There's a couple things. When I first watched this match, I absolutely hated it. I thought it was the worst match on the show.
Hmm?
But I went into it with different eyes my second time. This match was so different than the rest of the card, I actually enjoyed it. Not the ending. I didn't actually like what happened, but I enjoyed it. It was a wrestling match. It was different than everything else on this card, which made it stand out. And I actually like it. Pat, you said you liked Cody Rhodes' outfit. I hated it. I thought it was too much American Dreamish, and they were really pushing it hard, so hard. And this is why Cody's getting that reputation of Jeff Jarrett and Triple H. He's so getting it, and you can't steer away from it. And there's one thing I
really giving him that reputation though, other than like the really hardcore like smarks. I don't think Cody's done anything wrong in this company. To be completely,
not even a little bit.
I'm not saying that, but like when it comes to this, he isn't going to lose this match. He dubbed himself as the American Dream coming in. Like
he's lost enough matches though. He put over MJF. He put over Brody. He's putting over the people that need it. Brody had some matches coming in. MJF, same thing.
Agreed.
He did, but I'm not saying like, but like, it's not like that. But like, he gives himself the over the top entrance. To me, it's just a little too much. But the thing that really bothered me the most in this match was, what's the one thing they built up a go-go for? This match? What was the one thing they built him? They made him look strong. Do you guys know?
The punch.
His punch.
He kept hitting
26 seconds into this match, he nailed Cody, and Cody got up in like 2 seconds. They built that punch up. That is devastating. End of the match punch. He nailed it in 26 seconds. And
the same punch that got a flag put over him.
Yeah. And nothing happened. Cody dropped to his knees and then got right back up. That really
I will say,
me.
John and AJ, going with that. So when I first watched it, first of all, I liked that he hit him with the vertebraker that came out of nowhere.
Oh, I love that.
I think it's a cool thing that he's winning moves with winning matches for a variety of moves, which puts him over as a multi-threat.
I love that. Like I think wrestlers should always have that.
Right.
Like, I'm tired of seeing just like the one finisher nowadays. Like, oh, you got the match can't end unless it's your big finisher, and then if they don't, people are disappointed. Like it was like, but like no, I love the ending actually.
Well, look, even Randy Orton's trying out new finishers. I tell you,
the Bro Derek.
No,
here in itself.
The one thing I like that. One of the things I love about talking with you guys, especially the last 2 weeks, is the minor details, like the record and whatnot. And now we're talking about attire. I honestly thought if you're going to call yourself the American, and again, you're talking about the biggest Cody fan. I this dude, I love this dude. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I do too. I do. I think he's the best person in AEW.
And I thought he should have had a dusty outfit on. He should have, whether it was the single, I didn't need the over the top cartoon Apollo Creed.
I didn't
need that. I wanted a dusty outfit for that one. If you're gonna do it, let's go all in and let's do it. No pun intended.
See, I would have liked that. I agree. That actually sounds like 10 times better.
And I don't think since you watched it twice, did he ever do like a bionic elbow? Might have been out of it. If he hit that, as a nod to his dad.
That's another one that I'm very.
If
you're gonna go that deep and do the I'm gonna be the American Dream. You gotta at least go in, right? I mean, because again, you're catering to the point made a few minutes ago. You're catering to the wrestling fan,
right?
But other than that, this match,
flag, he was dressed in the flag in some fashion. I think that at least hit the home. And I know you said, John, I didn't think about it till right now, but like goes like the whole selling, right? You're mentioning how like they've been putting over his uppercut and they didn't do it in this match. I think that the biggest sin of that was when I think of a vertebraker, you hook the guy by the arms, you turn him around, you have to lift the guy with your core.
Yeah,
at least that's how I visualize it as a fan.
That's
how did he get him up? He got hit twice with the uppercut.
This is the thing where that AEW needs the people like Mark Henry and the Big Show, because they need to be able to sell that. Like, you just took the devastating blow that they've been spending a month or two building up as this devastating knockout blow. And then he hit that and then really didn't really sell it the rest of the match. And to me, and it was just a small detail. The match actually a lot better the second time through because, like I said, totally different match. It was a wrestling match. And matches like that on this show, that's why when Christian fights, he stands out because it is a whole different type of match this crowd doesn't usually see. And actually,
I want a fantasy booked match of Christian versus Cody Rhodes over the damn gimmick. I got so angry. Pat Ken will attest to this. Of this, outwork everyone.
Yeah.
Cody's is do the work. Christian comes in with outwork everyone. What? Like, so give me those two in a match with that tagline somehow. Like, I don't know, but that bothered me.
It was just right.
Christian brings a different element.
I think that match would probably be one of the best matches ever in AEW ever. Give me that. I agree. Give me that match. I don't even care if they're both good guys, both bad guys. Just give me that match because that would just totally different than put it like right in the middle of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because the crowd will eat it up. They will.
I prefer Marco Stunt as tag team champion.
Pat, you're hurting me over here.
I didn't think of some way to transition. That was that.
This is why Pat is the one that has the podcast, and we're the ones that are guests because he can do stuff like that. That was magicianry.
Oh man! So I was thinking in this match, she was halfway through the TNT title. Miro did have a bag because Jake the Snake brought it out, but we never figured out what it was. Could it be Marco Stunt in that bag?
I wish. Sorry, is that too mean?
It was funny when that bag came out too. The 9-year-old that was over, his name was Jake, and I gave him a Jake the Snake shirt right before the show, and he put it on, and of course the bag, because I was like, oh, there's the snake. There's the snake. And then he had to toss the bag. And just animal cruelty 101 was like, nope, the snake wasn't in the bag. Nope, that wasn't the snake. Nope.
I know. I'm like, I don't know if you, either one of you ever watched like when Earthquake was fighting Jake the Snake back in the day. I was thinking like
Quake
Burgers. Yeah, exactly. You can have Miro melts or something. But we talked about this one and how it would be booked as far as like which guy could afford to take the loss because neither one of them have had a major length of time in the Monster Roll heel. But I believe that we both kind of came into it with either. I think I mentioned there might be a draw of some sort, but I don't think anybody really picked Lance Archer to win the belt. Maybe I did at one point. I don't know. Bottom line, didn't happen.
It did not.
Now, AJ, as the closest link to Rusev or Miro, had a hell of a Halloween costume one year. What were your thoughts, AJ, on our TNT Championship match between Miro and Archer?
I will forever be a Rusev and Lana fan because of the fact that they at least took time to like that on social media. So I will always give them that. You know what? It's a double-edged sword in this because Rusev, I think, needed to win. To the point earlier, I think a feud with him and Jungle Boy would be phenomenal.
Perfect. Give that to me all day.
Perfect is actually a great word for it right there. I think that would be a perfect feud.
It would.
It's just you're hurting Lance. I mean, Lance is virtually buried. I mean, I don't know about Lance and Brian Cage might as well do the Brandon Cutler Peter Avalon gig that happened right when AEW started, where they was the battle of the losers.
They could be a tag team. That would actually save them.
That's
Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah, that's the only thing that could save them because Archer he's done. Like, I don't know how they bury somebody like that. Cool music. He comes out, storming out. It's just so awesome. And I don't know what they're doing with it. I know he's older, but that doesn't mean anything. But,
Jake does nothing for me. I don't know about you guys, but Jake does nothing for me.
Like, he's still
a good speaker. Yeah. He's still a good speaker. He's still a good speaker. It's just the raspy voice because of all the drugs. Just it's done a bit. Wait, we got to blame Honky Tonk Man on that. I don't know if you guys know that story that he always does. With Honky Tonk Man he took a guitar. Jake the Snake took a guitar shot to the back. And the guitar didn't break quickly, so that's what Jake the Snake blames on his drug addiction. Is Honky Tonk Man.
Yes, I have heard that. Yeah, I thought you meant for the voice, but I guess it's kind of all intertwined. Go ahead. Yeah.
So my thoughts on this match is the right man won. Obviously, I mean Miro had to win. He had to dominate. The finish was perfect for what it needed to be. The thing that bothered me the most, and Pat was right there with me. 20 seconds into this match, Miro's not even stunned, not even anything. Archer takes that hand, walks over to the turnbuckle, and walks the ropes and then does the moonsault. Yeah. 20 seconds into the match. You have to suspend belief a little bit, but Miro wasn't even stunned. He was just walking with him. Like, give me a little bit. Like, punch him in the gut first. He did it. He just grabbed him by the hand and did the moonsault. And I was like, I look at Pat and I go, huh, I complained about this on the last podcast, and here it is, already happening that quick. But
yeah, I think it might have been like one of his first offensive moves, and it's like he shouldn't be doing moves like that to begin with. He doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to.
And then, doing it like that made no sense.
Let him marinate a little bit, right? Yeah.
Stand out in this company. Stand out. Like, he's a big man, and he's doing things that everybody's doing in every match. He's doing things that the Lucha Brothers are doing, but doing better. Like, he's not standing out to me anymore. It's I don't know what to say. It was the best match on the show, and I'm not counting the Battle Royal.
Like if he went to, like, say, NWA, where it's for us to go over NWA Power or something, none of their guys are doing that kind of stuff. He would stand out there. But yeah, exactly.
Would stand out.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor.
He's doing
great.
Yeah, he is. He's doing things that people are doing better.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Yeah, and I think too is that if you're a big tall guy like him and you're walking the ropes like that, you cannot avoid being compared to the Undertaker. Just with that move alone, even though Taker didn't do backflips, he walked the ropes.
First thing I thought when he was walking the ropes was that I didn't see the backflip coming. I agree. I thought we were going right down. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, put it this way, right? If you've watched the show and you're trying to convince somebody, to watch the show, and as a rerun, would either of you suggest, like, oh, you've got to see this TNT Championship match?
Funny thing is, my second time watching through, I didn't watch a single second of it. The only thing I watched was that I put my timer on to see how long it take for him to do the moonsault, and then I fast forward through the rest of the match because the match was nothing.
This was the best part.
Going back to my phone thing, I was on my phone this whole match. I looked up and I saw the ending.
Well, take a look at the screen right there. In all reality, I did a screen capture for most of the time when I watched second time. I just saw him on the ground and I did the camel clutch. 2 other matches are with Miro holding something. So nothing stood out to me either.
It's funny too because I honestly wish that before the show I actually prepped for this because I wonder, just again for the people listening, that our group chat that was going, it wasn't very talkative that night, which is to the point. It was a good pay-per-view. I'd love to know when the messages came in between our group, while as it corresponds to the show, because I think that it would actually tell a lot about what we thought about the matches. I think that's
I could look
a good point because I agree. I thought this match was just. This was one to take a break, do whatever you got to do to regroup for what was going to come.
And I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think the women's match was next. I could be wrong. We'll see it. Yep. Okay. So that does speak to us as well, AJ. After that match happened, that's when I turned to John. I'm like, oh, God, I got to use the bathroom. So I was getting to go. And I was like, nope. Instantly, the match I was looking forward to the whole night. But
they didn't give anything time. Like, it was too much. Like, the thing that was that they have to, you have to build in a little break for the fan to go to the bathroom watching at home. The person watching live is not going to get up from their seat, never. But at home, you need to get up. Like, people have kids, people have to get a drink, people have to get a bathroom. 2 seconds. That's all I was looking for.
Yeah.
And they never gave it to you.
Yeah, they went right into this.
I'm looking down at that answer about texting.
Hikaru Shida came into this match as being the AEW Women's Champion for over a year. And on Friday's show, they actually debuted the new version of the AEW Women's Championship. Slightly wider, not quite as ovular. I can only imagine.
Nobody else thought that was hilarious. That's been the running joke in our house. And maybe it's because I have daughters, but like that belt we always pick on for being so small.
Yeah.
So I remember the next day, because my oldest had fallen asleep, and I sent her a picture the next day that I had found online where you actually see like Sheeta wearing the new one and the holding. It's like, oh look, new belt. It's just like, I don't know, a couple inches maybe bigger at max. Like,
made a difference though.
You know what it is, right? Sheeta had the belt for a whole year, and at the end of that full year, she put on the freshman 15. That's all it was.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. Rim shots over here. So, I mean, I thought this match was fantastic. Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida came out. it was sloppy at times. You know, I mean, it wasn't crisp like an all-time classic.
But matches don't need to be perfect.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Started slow.
Yeah.
Built into a great match. I felt like the sloppiness really was at the beginning. I agree. But Pat, you're right. I mean, excellent.
Here's my thing. You're never going to remember what happens in the middle of the match as long as we got the ending we all wanted. So I don't care what happened in the first 12 minutes. I got the ending I wanted.
And I was so happy though because like, you know, being a fan of Shida, you know she's going to tap. You know, I mean, if she loses a match, I mean, that's pretty much Britt Baker's big move is the lockjaw. She has a couple others, but you know, unlike the way they booked Asuka at WrestleMania against Charlotte Flair, Shida at least was fighting it all match. You know, Britt Baker got her in it a couple times, but she was able to roll out of it, get the ropes and everything, so that by the time she finally got it in for the win, it was kind of like, damn it. You finally got me in it. You know what I mean? It wasn't just kind of like, oh my God, tap out immediately.
I agree.
Yeah, so I thought that was good. Britt Baker had the I guess there was like a Scott Hall throwback to like the Wolfpack gear, like the red and the black, the blood drips. I like how she even had it on her glove that night. Her glove was even like bejeweled and decorated. Again, very happy for Britt Baker. She's made a big comeback, a big like growth in that company to become the face of AEW's women's division. Again, I've been talking a lot, obviously, about this one, but what are you guys' thoughts about the match in general? You know, what stood out to you?
I mean, in all honesty, I really don't remember much that happened in the match. I remember a few pieces, but I got the winner I wanted. That's all I'm going to remember. She finally got that big win. I mean, it wasn't like this all-time classic. It was a good match. I thought the women's match on the pre-show was better.
It wasn't bad. Yeah.
It was actually really good. I know we didn't get a chance to talk about it, so this is the time I was going to bring it up. That match was really good.
Awesome.
And I think they should do a quick Serena Deeb / Britt Baker because honestly, they don't have that big time next person up for Britt Baker. Are they going to wait for some of these women that have been released in the last couple months from WWE? But
you don't think they're going right with Thunder Rosa?
I think they eventually will. That was my thing.
That's what gets the win back, right?
That I was like,
yeah.
Well, it's like, I should build it up, and I really think Thunder Rosa should win it. But because I don't like, I'm glad Britt Baker got the title, but in all honesty, doesn't need it. She's bigger than the title.
No, she doesn't need it, but I do think that title, as much as Shida, we all appreciate her, which I guess I'm contradicting myself because it is the true wrestling fan, but I think as we transition to TBS, as we transition to a second show, I think that the outside world that we're trying to draw fans from the WWE needs Britt Baker with the title and not Shida or Rhea.
100%. Because Nyla Rose, Shida, and Riho, none of them are characters.
No.
None of them stand out. They don't cut promos. So no, yeah, Britt Baker needs to be the champion right now because now the belt can actually stand out and people can actually say, oh, now you know why somebody's chasing them. It's not wrestling related. It's overall character related.
Story.
I think we need Britt and Deonna Purrazzo in a barn burner of a match to put over both women's divisions. I do. And they're very good friends. Yeah. I do think, to your point, John, about not remembering much about the match, this is another one where, again, double-edged sword that AEW creates where it has so much good stuff. I think that this match would have been remembered more because I agree with you. I actually found myself almost coming off of the bathroom break of the last match before this, almost using this. I was still kind of busy, I guess, regrouping, right? Like, and doing different things with people at the house and whatnot. So I think that if this match was right after the Cody and Ogogo, and then the TNT title was then before the World Championship, it would have been better placement again for the fans. But to contradict myself, you're trying to highlight your women's championship, and I understand that.
Yeah, they need to. They need to highlight it, and obviously they got it on the right person who's gonna highlight it. Like I don't see this being a lengthy run for her. I think it's gonna be a couple months. Draw people in. She's gonna have a couple feuds at the beginning, draw people in, and then they're going to sign one of these bigger names coming out that just got released. Or like you said, the Deonna Purrazzo, which would be a fantastic match.
Oh, yeah.
I think that it's going to make the writers over the company be able to write stories a lot easier and not just book
Hopefully.
matches.
Yes.
I think he's going to have the belt for a while. Maybe not as long as Hikaru Shido. Or even Rio, I think, had the belt for about a year, too. I mean,
yeah, she had it for a bit.
She had it for a while.
And Nyla Rose had it for a period of time, too. I just think this is going to be a whole new era in the women's division of AEW.
Well, yeah, it is.
Now, our next match that came up after that, I believe, was Darby and Sting. Yep.
Yes.
Man, I think Sting delivered like we kind of thought he might, but I mean the image on the top left, it's the fact the dude was like he dove off of a stage onto the two guys that catch him, but I don't know. I really like this match. I love how the few times they've done Darby and Darby Sting things, like they have this style, that they have this film noir, I think would be the right way to put it, the black and white shots. Like they have him driving to the ring. They've done that before.
That was dope.
The match was great. I personally was a little surprised with the ending of it. But yeah, you hate it. So let's you start, John. Go for it.
No, the first time I thought the match was okay. The second time I watched the match, I really liked it.
Okay.
I don't hate the match. I hated the ending. I don't know why Sting got the pin. It's pointless. He didn't need it. Is he really going to be this big time feud? And that's the thing. I know they gave us for the feel good moment for the fans, and I understand that. But it does nothing now. I
think they needed. I think I said this last week. If Sting was going to go over, or if Darby and Sting were going to go over, it had to be Sting because again, he's probably going to put a lot of people over for the next year. He needed a win somewhere. He did. He needed at least.
Yeah, that way he doesn't come off as like the old loser that everybody
gonna lose, right? Yeah. Can we say Ethan Page was fun and he stood out to me just as a person. Nothing else, just was great. I thought
the first 5 seconds he was on camera, he grabbed all the attention, and it wasn't in a fake kind of way. It seemed so natural, and that's the thing. The all ego name fit perfectly for this, and now I'm kind of sad that he's in this.
Walking out.
Now, as I say, now I'm sad that he's in this tag team because he shouldn't be now. But I get it. If you have nothing for him, I'm always a component of if you have nothing for somebody, put him in a tag team. Get him on TV, do something. And I understand that's what they were doing, slowly building him because the last thing people saw was him being a karate fighter, getting his heart ripped out. That's the last thing people saw when he was in Impact. So I think he's trying to get away from that because from what I read, he really hated that.
If you are as talented and if you have as much charisma as Ethan Page does, and he showed that on Sunday, remember, bad guys don't need to win.
They don't. I agree.
Because he could come out, him and Scorpio Sky can come out and either say they got cheated or they just keep on going and they screw around with somebody else or they hurt Sting or whatever. I think it was okay that he lost as long as, again, it made sense too. It wasn't like Sting wasn't dominating anybody.
Oh, no.
He reversed a move with his veteran acumen, and he hit the drop.
I thought the transition was great looking. I thought the way the match ended, if they were going to have Sting take the pin, was perfect. I just thought Darby should get the pin because they threw him down the stairs. They didn't throw Sting down the stairs. They threw Darby down the stairs.
That's true.
So that's why I think he should have got his, moment of beating them. It's like I said, small nitpick. I thought the match was actually really, really good. And I want to take 5 seconds to talk about Darby Allin suicide dives because I have a few things. No, the first one right at the beginning of the match where he just jumped through and turned his whole body. There's a few certain moves that I see that I don't think anybody in the company should do. I don't think anybody should do the suicide dives anymore except him. It's like when you watch Montez Ford's frog splash.
Oh my God.
Nobody in that company should be doing that because you have the best one. Darby Allin's suicide dives they're just so good in the way he sells. They're starting to come. AEW is going to come up with a problem recently is they build these wrestlers so well. Certain wrestlers, not all of them, but they have like 5 or 6 that they built so well. What are they gonna do with them? They may flounder a little. You know what I mean? Like, where does
King
Darby go from here?
They do some kind of tournament. You won't be able to call it.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up at some point when we were talking about the gimmick match, like a casino battle royal. Pat, I think that would be.
Sorry, Pat, you cut out. What was that?
I said some kind of a King of the Ring or like a round robin tournament,
Yes.
something like you can't call it
rules, whatever you want to do. I mean, yes,
that's perfect. Have that and have him win that, and then he can just roll with that. I agree. That is perfect. Like, they need to start doing stuff like that. Not casino battle royals. Do like a whole Dynamite where all you do is just have the tournament matches. They can afford to do that. The fans will watch it, and this company is built on match quality. You don't need a storyline for that. The storyline is winning. So
right.
you have a built-in storyline.
They did the women's eliminator challenge thing, and unfortunately, more than half of it wasn't even televised.
I was actually going to double down on what you said there. If they did a dark or elevation tournament, but wasn't spaced out like the women's was, where we got 2 matches this week, 2 matches this week. If you're telling me we're going to get this week on dark, we're going to get the first half of this tournament, and then 3 days later, whatever it is, we're going to get the second half of this tournament and the final.
I'd watch.
I think absolutely. Even if it was that young talent that we don't know about yet, I think that would be an excellent showcase for them.
Yeah, I'm not a big. I don't watch elevation yet, but if they said there's gonna be like a King of the Ring style tournament, I would tune in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And don't make it your big. Make it like just mid card wrestlers.
Yes.
Watch these new guys. Give these guys something.
Agreed.
Agreed. They need that. They need that. I don't know. They don't need another title. They just need something like that.
Right, and hopefully they'll do that, especially as they move towards their move to TBS. They're going to have to do something to kind of, raise the stakes, get more eyes on the product. Our first half of our main event was the triple threat between Orange Cassidy, Pac, and Kenny Omega. This match, I don't know for sure, John. I don't know if you clocked the time, but I'm pretty sure it went over half an hour.
I think it did. I didn't look.
Your falls.
This was if you take out the last 2 minutes of the match, this was my favorite match on the show. Didn't even come close. Didn't look at my phone once. I was talking to Pat through the whole thing. I was engaged. Every time Orange Cassidy almost won, I was like, Pat, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I put $1 on the couch, and I was like, all right, I'm putting money on this.
But the crowd wanted it. But as soon as, I think we texted each other, AJ, as soon as we saw that we're the main event, we go, it's not happening. I even said that, it's not the main event, it's not happening. Because you got to leave the fans, have the fans go home happy.
This match hurt the main event because of how awesome
it was.
And this is one of the best wrestling matches that I have sat and watched, again, with the environment going on in a long time. This was awesome because even me, a few of the near falls started happening, and it's like, this isn't gonna happen. And it was that last one orange punch. I was like, no way, are they really gonna do this?
Yeah,
like, they should. I still think they should have.
Oh man, this was a really, really awesome match by them. I knocked this out of the park. I think it was perfect for what it needed to be. I think all 3 of them looked strong. Even Pac, we all agree, had no chance to win.
I totally forgot Pac was in the match. I remember zero what he did because
he served a
purpose.
He served the purpose, though, of being the third guy that could have gotten the pin on.
Correct. Well, yeah. Did he end up taking the pin? I don't remember.
Did he? Yeah, I think he did.
Did he? I see none of us remember.
No, because like I know that like the last big near fall was when Kenny was hitting everybody with the belts, and he knocked Pac out with the belt, and it was like right as he's going to the pin, Orange Cassidy just like shoves Kenny out of the way, if I remember correctly, and he almost got the pin. It was something like that. But yeah, did Orange get pinned or did Pac get pinned at the very end?
I want to know now because
we are not prepared at all.
We definitely are, but let's see.
But man, I still think they should have given it to him and then rolled with Kenny. Just loses every belt. I thought that should have happened. The crowd wanted it to happen. They were so behind Orange Cassidy. And do you think they'll end up regretting not giving it to him then?
No, not at all. Kenny got a massive amount of heat. The the Elite is going to continue to get heat, and I think that they're going to be able to use that, to basically. Here's how I look at it, John. I think that they're going to go with that. That the belt collector loses the belts. I think that instead of it just being only Kenny, though, I think that whole story is going to be wrapped around the Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to be the first ones to go down in that faction.
To me,
Cassidy
took the pin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I just find it weird that I hope they don't make Omega lose the Impact title before he loses the AEW title, because as you guys always say, the AEW title is the most protected title in all of wrestling, and I agree. But if they have him lose the Impact title first, unless it's a screw job where Impact screws him out of the title, then I'll be okay with it. But you can't have him lose to Moose or anybody while he's still holding the AEW title. You can't, because it would just not look good that this smaller ranked organization who you won't even put on your own show, and then you have him going to that show and then lose.
You're talking about the screw job? Kenny puts up the belt on Impact. Orange Cassidy shows up. He costs him the Impact belt.
See, I'm fine with that. But see, I'm fine with that. It just can't be a straight loss. He has to be screwed out.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
He's not a straight loss anyway.
Yeah. But no, the match. The phone test did not pick up my phone. I was just more hoping to be right because I love being right. Who doesn't? But man, just hearing that crowd. It's just, they should have given it to him.
My entire living room, which had ranges from 5 and 6 years old up to 35, one being a wrestling fan, the other one being a complete non-wrestling fan, lost it for that. Wrestling fans were made in Syracuse, New York that night because of this match. And that was special. There was at one point I look over at the couch, and again, 2 13-year-old girls who were on their phones all night were losing their minds over the fact, oh my God, is Orange going to win?
Now, I have a question, and this is just me. Was it Orange Cassidy? I know he's great, and I love him. Or was it the underdog could have beaten Kenny Omega? If you put any underdog in that with the crowd, you had the same reaction.
Not
fully.
No, I mean, not to this degree. Because, I mean, hell, even if you had Jungle Boy in there, I don't think he's as over as Orange Cassidy yet.
Oh, no, the crowd would have been the same reaction, I think that.
You do?
I think he's just started to them.
Well, I think, okay, I'll say this. Joey Janela or Sonny Kiss would not have gotten the same reaction.
Jungle Boy, Darby, and Orange are probably in a tier of themselves, right? In a way of that Daniel Bryan.
Those are the 3 stars they built.
Yeah, exactly. And they also have established moves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, when he went for the Orange Punch, people knew that could be possibly it. The Beach Break, they knew that could be possibly it. But also, Kenny Omega, the fact that he's such a tool, you know what I mean? He's gotten that character over so well. That speaks almost to what you're kind of saying as well. John, I had to think of my words carefully.
That's how you do it without swearing, right? That was great.
So, absolutely great match. I could almost watch it again, even though I knew the finish. Because again, it was so close. But I will definitely into that.
I will watch it again, and I will be sad when Orange Cassidy doesn't win. It's just they could, like you said, they could have did a quick win here and then lost it, like at Fight for the Fallen.
Only if it was going to be the main event, though.
Yes,
show the way that it ended, and we can get into that in a second. But and that show the way that it did, and if it was going to go on Orange, I mean, again, my house was so high for this match. The Stadium Stampede was just like, is it bedtime, man?
The letdown. It was a
I enjoyed this match, but it was so stupid. In the I mentioned this to John. There was no way to get into this match realistically.
No.
Because it didn't make sense. So you're telling me that they follow MJF and Jericho around this arena for 10 minutes. What if Shawn Spears pinned Sammy Guevara? Like, you wouldn't know. Like, and that's just like, being like the kayfabe, standing of it. It's like, it didn't make sense that they just kept going into these different segments, while MJF and Chris Jericho tried to have their best halftime heat as they could. And I didn't. So like, okay, the entertainment value of the segments I thought was fine. I thought MJF and Jericho had some really good moments in that backstage part. I actually liked the Shawn Spears, Sammy Guevara stuff, which would play into the finish. But just seeing Sammy pulling off some capoeira type of maneuvers and oh god, what do you also call it? The not CrossFit, but
parkour.
John Morrison does it all the time.
Parkour.
You run and do flips.
Parkour.
Thank you.
If I said it the fourth time, it would have gotten through.
Yeah, like their segments were good. Even like the Jake Hager and Wardlow, the Hoss fight in the meat room, in the freezer. It's kind of weird, but it was all right.
That was good.
The brawl, which is very strange, with the tag team brawl with a dance club that just happened to be going that night. Just leading up to a Conan, appearance, a cameo.
I think that's all it was built up for. That's sad. It shouldn't be built up for that, and I think it was. I think it was that part was in the club. The entrance was amazing, but I'm talking about like the part with the.
Oh yeah, the rappel.
Yeah. But I'm talking about like the FTR and basically LAX. I'm gonna still call them LAX because they're always gonna be LAX. So we're just gonna call them LAX. And LAX
are they technically like real talk? Are they Santana and Ortiz, or are they Pride and Powerful?
Whatever happened to that?
Right. I mean, I haven't heard that name in so long. It's just Santana and Ortiz.
I'm so happy they got rid of it because that was a horrible tag team name. It was, but it felt like that one scene was to build up for Conan. And if they're bringing in Conan, great, because I think if they just don't lack permission to call it LAX, please. But yeah, but other than that, it was what it was. This match. I mean,
I think this could have. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was gonna say no. You go. You're good.
I just felt like this would have been better leading into the main event championship match where the crowd was hyped.
I agree.
Instead of to have people, and we hear this, we're wrestling fans, we've been doing this, we hear people talk about match placement all the time and the ebbs and flows of the show. And to have that high of something before 10 minutes or whatever it was of cinematic nothing, it seemed very counterproductive. It really, yeah.
As I said, from what I read, like Sean Ross Sapp and all them that were there live, they said the crowd was going nuts while watching it on the TV. That's what they said. But like the people home on TV were like, well, like I don't feel.
How are you
like,
guys? You guys watch this together, right?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
we both looked at each other like, this is what it is. Let's not fit this in some all-time classic. And then like a problem getting into it at the beginning. And then Pat and I just looked at each other. We're like, well, okay, this is really dumb. Let's just say what it is. This is dumb. Let's just go into that with that mindset. This is dumb. And they got a little better. But
yeah, I just looked at it exactly. I couldn't look at it like John said, like with like realism glasses. I saw this as a fight, like fight scenes in a movie. I liked it. It just made no sense. Like, if anything, they could have maybe done this in segments throughout the whole pay-per-view. Have like the Wardlow part.
I would love that. That's excellent.
Right. And then gave me time to go to the bathroom.
Never thought about that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, because then the finale could have been in the ring like they did. Like have all of them come out and brawl. And then same thing. Book it the same way. Have Sammy pin Spears, whatever.
See, the Sammy going over was the right call. It's just, now what? Where do you go with them?
Did it not seem weird though? How it was?
It came out of nowhere. Like the little flip. Like not everybody was in the ring yet. Like
was I the one that thought I thought MJF got hurt.
I don't think he did.
I didn't understand how this whole feud was built on two people.
Yes, MJF and Chris Jericho.
They hyped this match, the two of them, on radio shows, in the paper and whatnot. They hyped this match as a Jericho MJF battle, which again, I do think Sammy, as much as I don't like him, if we're gonna elevate somebody, he needed it. The crowd loves him.
Yep.
But it seemed like MJF and Jericho fought everywhere, and then all of a sudden they got into the arena.
They were in the end
the stairs and the pushed them in the chairs or whatever it was.
Yeah, and that was it.
It was gone.
So yeah, it was quick. I looked at her like, what? Like, I agree that the call of having Sammy Sammy, I'm just gonna call him Sammy. Have Sammy go over and take the pin. I get it. He's like the next big star, even though, like you say, AJ, after I'm guessing personal things that he said outside of wrestling, I don't like the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people who I mean, Pat, you knew me back when I was 18, and I said a lot of things off the cuff, but I think that when you have a
audience on the radio,
he wasn't a true nobody then. I know he wasn't the Sammy Guevara we know now, but you were aspiring for bigger things at that point.
Right.
It was also in like 2000, like 15 or 6, like something like that.
It was within the last 5 years.
We're not talking about 2010 or, again, 2004.
2003.
I was probably saying things that I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I think the higher standard you should be held to. And that's just, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, just like John, I agree as well.
See, I thought this match was going to end with Jericho pinning MJF, and then they were going to have a fight where loser leaves town, or loser leaves somewhere, so Jericho can tour like that.
And they still may.
I mean, they still may. That's where this goes, because the way they've done this, when they did Blood and Guts first and then this, I just think they did it backwards. They started off so hot, and then it's like,
well, you bring it up. Where was MJF? Where were the tag teams and all that?
They didn't. They didn't come back.
No, like the final image was obviously the inner circle posing, right? And the fireworks going off. But the final ring, like actual wrestling image, there literally was Sammy pinning Shawn Spears. They don't have a feud. Neither one of them are high on the card. Shawn's the lowest guy on the pinnacle. So you didn't see anybody else. Like, it wasn't until the match was already decided. So, like, if anything, as I said, everybody should have gotten back to ringside and just have a brawl on the outside.
I agree.
Yes.
When the Hart family beat the Hodgepodge tag team back in the Canadian Stampede, it was a big, crazy brawl at the end. And then Owen did the quick sneak pin on Austin. That's what I was envisioning when they started getting back to the ring. That's just going to brawl. It's going to blow out. It's going to finish. No, instead, proud and powerful or whatever, we're still dancing until the fireworks are ready to be shot.
I think I built this up too much in my head too, because you're right. A big brawl at the end. I just assumed that a few things. One, this being the main event, the kaboom gone bad, the blood and guts ending being tainted, or however you want to call that. I really thought they were going to do something like wow at the end here, and even if it wasn't, I guess MJF and Jericho. Just if anybody had a feud outside of Jericho and MJF, it was Sammy and MJF, right? That was the whole reason that Sammy quit the Inner Circle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we got to protect MJF, so I get that, but there just could have been. This just felt like it just missed on so many different levels for me. I thought this could have been executed better, and to your point on the image at the end, right? The image at the end is the pyro going off with just the Inner Circle. After Sammy pins Shawn Spears to the naked eye of a fan, the ending could have been Kenny Omega with Don Callis and the Young Bucks out with their titles. Because who knows, by All Out, that might all be gone. And that shot we might never get, but that shot we should have gotten.
I agree.
Right.
That's the part that AEW started wonky. Do they have anybody that overlooks it? That's why we bring in like these people like Mark Henry, Big Show. Hopefully they're speaking in each other's ears with these guys who really, I mean, they can put on a great card, but they've been failing. I don't want to say the word failing. They've been missing the final shots of a lot of these shows.
But maybe newer AEW fans, those are the kind of final shots that they're going to be accustomed to. I mean, who knows? It's
but they have to go at a certain point. They're going to have to cater to the outside fan.
No, of course.
because you want this thing to grow. It's not going to grow. Like, you have to bring in 10, 20,000 more people. Right, well, let's not lie. 1 million more people outside of all your fandom. You have to get that WWE crowd when their product is so bad right now. So bad.
The final image with the fire and them posing, it is a fine image, but just like the wrestling image, I thought was, we think it's kind of weak. But bottom line is, fans were going crazy. They were singing the Judas song, and there was flame fireworks everywhere. It's a strong way to go out visually, but it's just that final pin I just thought was kind of weak.
But to me, the AEW fans are going to eat up anything they do.
You're right. Yes.
How many times did they boo besides Brandy Rhodes and whatever her group was? Have they ever booed anything? Not really. They're not going to boo. That's
the best booing in AEW history was when the babyface Young Bucks, during a ladder match, pulled the mask off of, I think it was Penta.
Oh, yeah.
And that crowd booed instantly, and that is something that I was so proud of because the Young Bucks were so over. Yet you do not disrespect that mask, and the whole crowd right away. It was like we were at the Thunderdome, and they told them what to do, and it was just booed right away. It was perfect. Sorry,
no. I agree, but like other than that, they won't boo.
No, and you're right. They are a very, for the miserable wrestling fan, right? Because the same group that is going to cheer at the event is going to on Twitter, right? Because that's just what they're going to do. But you're right. It's very difficult to get an actual boo out there sometimes. They struggle booing MJF.
Yeah,
they do. They will commit and they will boo him.
And I think that's what Britt is going to come into some trouble with. I think she's really going to have to come out with that overly cocky, like, oh, don't cheer me now. Like, she's going to have to be a snarky. Good word.
It's gonna be tough for her.
Yes, because they're gonna want to cheer her because of that match,
and
not just that match, sorry, but because of the match with Thunder Rosa as well. Yeah. So I think that's a good point. Is I think that they need to figure out a way to get more real heels there.
But if basically though, kind of like MJF though, if they go after the crowd is also smart enough to know like, oh, okay, they're coming after us. That's my job. I have to boo them. I do think they'll do that. They're not gonna. I don't think it's that kind of crowd, but they might. You know
what? We get a nice boo. We're all expecting the Sammy face turn, right? Like that's written all over the place, right? Almost.
I keep thinking that wasn't going to happen, but yeah, at this point, yeah, I think they're committed to it.
You want him to turn on Jericho?
Oh
yeah. I keep expecting it.
You don't see it the other way. You don't see the whole evolution thing where Jericho is going to turn on him.
Eventually? Oh yeah, because Jericho's a great heel. He is. Yeah. But the problem with him being the heel is that you've got this entrance music. Everyone's gonna want to sing every time. So he's gonna be another one that's gonna be hard to truly boo. Where Sammy can actually get real heat. Sammy could get MJF heat.
He could. I agree.
All he has to do is open his mouth.
Like, look what this pay-per-view did.
He's the boss when it comes to getting heat.
Yeah.
Too soon?
No. So, look at what this pay-per-view did, actually. They built, just think about it. Ethan Page came off strong.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy came off strong. Darby Allin was already strong. Rusev looked a lot better. Britt Baker, star. So they do know how to build new stars.
Yeah, I think everybody came out looking good in this match.
Yeah, the Pinnacle, they didn't look good at all in this. But
the who?
The Pinnacle. There's nothing you could say that happened with them.
No. Did you guys catch the Urban Meyer post?
Yeah, where he posted
wrestling fans.
He posted them watching MJF.
I want to know your guys'
watching the camera. I did. I didn't like that, especially with MJF as this guy who's supposed to be in character all the time, and it broke his character. And if I was Tony Khan, I'd be peed off.
Who's also in the photo?
I didn't catch what you guys are talking about.
Give you a quick one. So Urban Meyer posted I don't know if it was on Twitter or Instagram, whatever one it was, a picture basically of everybody watching the match back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it basically looked like it'd be from the monitor out towards them. And
Yep.
you had basically in the shot, you had Urban Meyer, you had Tony Khan, and you had MJF and Jericho standing right there next to each other, watching the match with I think there's a smirk on the face somewhere. It's a kayfabe break, big time.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I understand that they're going to do this now. We're in the day of age where everybody knows it's not real, but that ruins MJF because he sticks true the oops, sorry, excuse me, I came out of nowhere the whole time. Like, and it just, yeah, little things like that. But I mean, if you're not on Twitter, you don't know about it. So,
right.
Yeah,
and
Kat, you didn't even know about it.
Exactly. If you don't go seeking it out, you'll never know. But yeah, I do think it's kind of especially with MJF because he's so careful with his character.
I think that's what really made it bad was that it was MJF, and again Tony Khan's in it, Jericho, like guys that I just feel like you know better. Like you know what I mean? Like you know better.
Yeah. Well. Lots of stuff to talk about, guys, and we do appreciate everybody for joining in tonight on a special edition of AEW Double or Nothing. I need a drink. I'll stick with water, but I definitely we got a lot out of this show. We doubled down. The next pay-per-view for AEW, November. Yeah, it's in November. The Full Throttle, I think, is their next pay-per-view.
No, the next one is
All Out.
Oh, what, September?
Yeah, Labor Day weekend.
Oh, well, there you go. That's why you guys are here, too, is to keep my dates correct.
I was going to say, if you guys want, I have that whole next week off for that show when the tickets go on sale. Yeah? I already saw AJ. I think AJ was just looking for his wife going, honey, can I?
She's going to respond right now.
My wife
well, we can discuss perhaps. I know that's the beginning of the school year for me, so...
That's the hardest thing, right? That's the first thing I thought of. It's funny that you say that.
Because I know there's the Rochester show, too. We're looking at tickets the other night. So I got to think, basically, if I can swing back. But there's no remote anymore. I could just be teaching from Rochester at a hotel laptop. But yeah, we'll have to talk about that for sure. Because, I mean, if nothing else, I definitely want to see the show for certain. Well... Just let you guys know, we do have a variety of different shows, including Inner Circle, apparently. There it is. Okay. So it is Wednesday right now. Obviously, this is our normal night for the game room, but we did have a special this week. Tomorrow we are doing I Stream, You Stream. Friday is Funko Royalty. Saturday, Mail Call, Mail Time. Sunday, Call of the Wild. Crazy card collecting on Monday, and Slam Nation Wrestling starts us up again next Tuesday. If you ever want to watch any of our shows, they do come live every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which you already know that if you're watching right now. But additionally, you can go look at our YouTube page particularly, and you'll be able to see that we have well over 150 shows and going strong. Take a look at any of them. See how far we've come. Additionally, you can like, share, and subscribe on any of these platforms, and you'll get updates to tell you about basically shows that come randomly. Like sometimes Bitter Ritz and myself, we make dinner, and we just want to show our recipes. That happens kind of randomly. But if you are a subscriber, you will know when that happens. So, with that said, thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one. Until then, adios. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, John.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. I mean that.
Thank you. Yeah, love it.